What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Now, I came on here earlier and I went into a rant because I was upset about something that I saw. And now I'm upset again because I saw something else. And it was equally absurd. I'm going to give you these nuts. I hear you out there. I'm going to give you the name to the song. I'll leave it in the description this time. All right. I don't know. It's something I grabbed off the internet. But I want to give a shout out right now to my members, Force Windu, Lady Miss Thing Green, BGS IB Moore, and Marvin Battle. I got to give y'all a shout out before I even get started. But I saw an article, man, and the article is entitled An Open Letter to Black Men. An open letter to black men. Now, I'm a black man, so okay, let's check this open letter out. And it's called The Cost of Protecting Black Women. An open letter to black men. So this guy here is the guy that has this letter. Okay? Apparently a black man, but you can't be too sure nowadays. But whatever the case may be, man, that's the dude's demo. He's writing an open letter to us, black men. Okay? And here's what he has to say. Having been raised in an abusive environment, the mistreatment, silence, and erasure of black women within our own communities hits too close to home. Okay. So he's automatically just asserting right out the gate, black women are silent and they're erased. Now, personally, I don't know what kind of family or environment he came from, but I have never, ever, in my experience, and I'm almost 50 years old, 50. I've never seen a situation in which black women were silenced and erased. I don't know where he comes from, but I've never seen this. Somebody please explain to me what he's talking about. 1/3 of all women will experience either physical or sexual assault at some point in their lives, but that number always felt much higher when looking at the women I was closest to, given the cultural, political, and economic violence targeted towards black women globally. So every woman he knows has been abused. Every last single one of them. Every one of them. Not to even mention the fact, which I have to mention, that if you look at the victimization of men, you get pretty much similar numbers as it pertains to domestic violence or sexual assault. The numbers are the same. So what the fuck is this man talking about? I'm already getting inflamed. I'm already starting to get set off. But black women ain't never been silent. I ain't never seen a silent black woman, ever. From my mother to my grandmother to my cousins to my daughters, I ain't never seen them be quiet. Never. So many of the women I've known have shared countless stories of abuse in both their personal and professional lives. In some cases, we've been able to work together towards taking meaningful action. But in many cases, we've chosen to keep their experiences in confidence. In confidence, bruh. In confidence? The last time I checked, man, women are telling it all, even when they're supposed to keep it a secret. If they keep it a secret, man, these women, if they keep it a secret, the last instance of a personal celebrity, Meg Thee Stallion, supposed to be keeping it secret, I'm holding him down, whatever the case may be, she ain't keeping it a secret. Women are not keeping nothing a secret, man. In fact, it's black men that's been keeping the secret. Black men are the ones that don't call the police 9 times out of 10. We're the ones keeping the secret. We're the ones not exposing the world to the fuckery that's going on in our communities and the ways that these women are acting fucking buck wild. We're the ones that's been keeping the secret. We're the ones not exposing the truth about the crazy, diabolical shit and the narcissistic behavior that a lot of these women in these communities are fucking behaving like. We ain't talking about sexual assault, none of that shit. Because if you want to talk about sexual assault, man, young boys as young as 10, 12 years old are coming into their first sexual experience. And who's doing this? Huh? Whose aunties doing this shit? Whose mama's friends doing this? But see, black men ain't really talking about that. But we gotta make sure we protect the women at all costs. See, the time for putting the shit under the table, that's done. Because if you're gonna hurl stones, you're gonna get some hurled back at you. This is a social, political environment where there's equality. Black men are vulnerable, just as vulnerable as these other demographics, but we ain't been talking about it. But you got an open letter, right? In our community, the secrets stay in the family. Belief has always been a source of inner conflict for me. As a confidant, too often has it been difficult to distinguish between whom the silence was really protecting. The stories of the women that confided in me or the reputation of the men that abused them. I know how troubling this science was for me, so I can't even begin to comprehend the depths and nuances that women have had to navigate when sharing their truths. But the reality, here's the reality. We both got silences. If that's the case, black boys ain't coming out saying what the hell's going on with them. Black men ain't going to the police talking about they're getting hit and slapped and punched. Come on, man. Black men ain't talking about the women that's coming up to them aggressively groping their muscles and all this shit, grabbing on their package. I done have 50-year-old, 60-year-old women. I'm like about 25, 30 years old. Let me touch you. What you mean? Let you touch me? Come on, lady. Are you serious? I want to see what it feel like. Huh? Come on now. Having said that, one thing remains clear. The default reflex to question women who come forward before questioning the actions of their abusers. Poison. The knee-jerk reaction to put women on trial before we interrogate their abusers. How the fuck do you know if they're their abusers, man? How do you know? Until you interrogate the shit. I'm not inclined to just believe all women. That's some fuckery, man. How many black men have been sent to prison over the fucking accusation of a woman only to be exonerated 20, 30 years later? We just supposed to believe women? What type of fuckery is this, man? And we ain't saying the shit don't happen to women, but everybody has to be fucking judged and assessed on a case-by-case basis. I'm not just going to automatically indict a woman because a man because a woman said so. What type of shit is this? What type of fuckery is this, man? What type of Orwellian fucking Kafka-esque world do we live in where I'm just automatically supposed to believe a woman just because she said some shit? You don't believe anybody just because they said some shit. This is a matter of serious gravity, man. And men don't have a problem with holding other men accountable. We know of all the stories about abuse that women tell, but what about the stories of the abuse that men don't tell? Like the shit doesn't exist. You got a hard time convincing a lot of men that shit like this happens to men, sexual assault and battery and abuse in a domestic setting. We act like it don't even happen. So I'm just supposed to automatically just start believing women. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. We search for flaws in their stories. What the fuck are you supposed to do? Everybody's supposed to be deemed innocent until they're proven guilty. We ain't supposed to just automatically assume guilt until the motherfucker's proven innocent. That's not how our system works, motherfucker. Pondering the motives in their actions or policing the tones in their voices. Right now you are involved in toning my motherfucking voice. You're trying to put a policing on my tone and people like my tone. You're trying to get them together and tell them believe all women, me too, and all this fuckery. We can have a fair system without just me too, believe her. You coming with these kind of accusations, you got to demonstrate that this shit happened. And it ain't just happening to women. It's happening to men and boys too. It's happening to girls and women. We don't deny that. But by default, my position is I'm just supposed to just accept the stories right off the bat. Believe what they saying. But they ain't saying what the fuck they doing, because they doing just the same shit. They doing the same thing. So why are we hearing that shit? You want us to be accountable, but you don't want nobody else to be accountable? Life don't work like that, bruh. How many of these ideas have we inherited from the doctrine of imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal thinking? Man, stop trying. The doctrine of imperialist, white supremacists, man, that ain't got shit to do with the price of fucking eggs. We talking about the black community. And we talking about pathology in the context of our community. And it ain't just based upon patriarchy, which black men don't even have the ability to fucking exercise, because we don't control any institutions in our community, much less the goddamn family, you fuck. It's a gynocracy in the black community. Bottom line. And we ain't talking about how these women prostituting and pimping their fucking daughters out. Huh? We gonna talk about that shit? You wanna talk about some shit? You wanna hold motherfuckers accountable? What about the pimping, the motherfucking pimping, the pimping that these women do to their fucking kids? You don't wanna talk about that shit though, huh, bruh? How deeply has this permeated the cultures of our companies? Our companies? What the fuck companies got to do with this shit, man? Our companies? What type of companies motherfuckers work for, you mean? What do you mean own? The conversations within our social circles and the furthest corners of our own psyche. Even more, what makes questioning and trivializing black women and their experiences at the hands of abusive men any different than the media we've long criticized for demonizing and criminalizing the character of unarmed black men who have fallen victim at the hands of abusive police? Do both not serve as a gross rationalization for their traumas to justify and legitimize a shirking of responsibility? No, motherfucker. We saying that violence and sexual abuse in the black community is just not unidirectional, you dumb fucker. You asshat. We hold black men accountable, but we ain't holding black women accountable for shit. Nothing. See, I'm going into a rant today. I'm pissed off, man. Black women are among the highest educated population in the world, and yet they're often passed over, taken for granted, discredited, and sexualized as they try to build meaningful careers and lives for themselves. So fucking what? Who gives a flying fuck if they're the most educated class in America, the most educated class? Who gives a shit, man? We're talking about pathology in the context of the black community. And don't talk to me about sexualization. Everybody is sexualized in this culture. From black men with the so-called big black cock, the big black buck. Come on, man. Cut the fuckery out, man. Cut the fuckery out. All of it falls short until we as men are no longer passively engaged in feminist resistance. I'm not engaged in feminist resistance. Fuck feminist resistance. Feminist resistance was come up and created, come up with and created by some white motherfuckers who was doing the same brutalizing, raping, and sexual assaulting and fucking violence to black men and women. And now all of a sudden they want to talk about abuse. They don't get to talk about abuse without pointing them three fingers that they pointing at others back to themselves. Then all of a sudden, black women take on the talking points of white feminists and talk about they being abused. But they don't talk about the shit that they're doing. None of it. I ain't heard a black woman yet, except for a few of them in the academy, a small amount of women actually asserting and mentioning what black women do in relation to abusing children, their intimate partners, and the elderly. Why don't we get that word? Why don't we get that information? Why aren't we giving that knowledge? Huh? It's as if that shit doesn't exist. I'm tired of living in a fictive universe. I'm crucifying all these fuckboys that come with this bullshit. All of them. A resistance where we begin to identify the misogynoir within. Not only when it's overt, but more importantly, when it is covert and subtle. A resistance where we are faced with ourselves and the circles we engage in. A resistance where men shut the fuck up when women have the floor and loud the fuck up when we see some fuck shit within our own backyards. Black men been stepping up. It's called proxy violence. We've been protecting women, you dumb fuckhead. You mangina simp ass maggle. We've been stepping up and protecting our own daughters, our own mothers and sisters, and our aunties. We've been riding for our own. And if it is a whole bunch of fuck shit going on in the black family, who running the black family? It ain't a whole bunch of patriarchs. It's some secrets being kept. Who the fuck keeping the secrets? Huh? Nine times out of 10, it's a woman keeping the fucking secret. Let's keep it real, man. Point out to me a time when black women haven't been showing up. Showing up for what? Showing up for fucking, you talking about Black Lives Matter, nigga? You mean showing up to put transgender women at the forefront over a pile of dead black male bodies? That's the shit you talking about? You mean black women who trying to destroy the heteronormative mononuclear family? That shit you talking about? That's the shit you talking about. Showing up where we dared to take over the conversation and redirect and bait and switch the fucking conversation to a whole different conversation? You mean that shit? You and your family and you and your cohorts can take that shit and ram it clear up your fucking rectum. Because that don't speak for me. That's not my politics, bruh. Doing the work and holding the line against male violence. Holding the line against male violence. Violence is not specific to men, you dimwit. Abuse is not endemic to just men, you dumb fuck. And sexism is not just directed towards women, you dim shit. I'm pissed off right now. I'm pissed. And these ideas, whether inherited or inherent along the way, don't exist as simple binaries, but rather function along a gradient. As black men, we can no longer render ourselves exempt from taking into account where we fall on the spectrum. We've been held accountable for falling on the spectrum. All the energy is directed to us. It seems like for fucking ever. We just not finding out about how the ways in which men have been subjected to sexual assault and abuse. We've been knowing women been subjected to this shit. But you see a whole bunch of women stepping up, doing the same fucking caping your ass is doing for us? Do you see it? Point the shit out. I want to see a fucking article. Show it to me. Show it to me. Give me the article where women are manning up, and I mean what I say, manning the fuck up and accepting accountability for the fuck shit they doing. Where do you see it? I see a few motherfuckers online doing it. Shalakimia Moffitt does it. It's a few women out there, but it's hard for me to even fucking name them. It's hard for me to even name them because there's so few of them. I'm not free from this in the least, and I'm grateful for the women in my life who've been an instrumental part of my development. You mean your devolvement? And held a mirror to the shadow sides of myself that I've been unable or at times unwilling to see. You a castrated concu-serf, motherfucker. That's what you are, dog. You castrated, emasculated. You turn into a mangina, a maggle. In being in communication with these women, I've been able to witness moments when I've interrupted women in conversations. Have you ever been interrupted by a woman? Been possessive in relationships? Do women get possessive in relationships? One of my best friends in this world, man, best friends, was in a lesbian relationship. His daughter was. Friends in this world. Daughter was involved in a relationship with a lesbian. The fucking lesbian girl damn near killed her. Cut her off in the highway. Broke her leg in several places. Broke her ankle. Broke 2 of her fucking ribs. She got pins and shit in her needle. Thrown through the window. She ain't have a safety belt on. She ain't know she was about to get chased down and cut off. This little girl was fighting for her life. And another woman did the shit. So don't talk to me about fucking violence. We're not going to make violence gendered. And it was all because the girl was possessive in the context of a fucking relationship. How many tires been slashed? How many cars been burnt or blown the fuck up? How many motherfuckers been stabbed or shot over a woman getting mad at a man because he fucking some other woman? Hot grits or some shit. Let's keep it real, man. But we ain't gonna tell them stories. We just gonna tell a one-sided story so you can go ahead and cap and save a hoe or something. And times when I didn't take action when I felt or when a woman felt unsafe in a shared environment. What you gonna do? Step up and whip a motherfucking man's ass? Because a woman told you so? See, this is dangerous shit we dealing with here, man. We don't want to get rid of the pathology in our community. We are not desirous of that. That's not our end goal. Our end goal is to continuously browbeat black men over and over and over again and to make them the motherfucking scapegoat for all the evils that exist in the fucking world. I'm sick of that bullshit. I'm tired of hearing it, man. And I'm definitely ain't gonna hear it from a black man. I'm gonna hold him more accountable. I'm gonna go off on his bitch ass more than I would a woman. It's one thing to identify your own toxic behavior when it's flagrant and overt, but a significant part of the work also lies in addressing when it's codified in the subtleties of language or the intricacies of our relationship dynamics. It is in these difficult conversations that I've also had to confront generational cycles of behavior within the men of my own family. As a part of my own development in wanting to rebel against the traits of anger that I witnessed within my father or grandfather, I spent the better part of my life trying to master self-control, discipline, and composure. Also, black men need to work on their anger. Oh, yeah, they do, but so do the women. Anger ain't a one-way street. So women don't get angry, right? It's us that need to check our anger. Oftentimes it gets to the boiling point after dealing with passive aggressive or overtly aggressive behavior on the part of women. Cyclical. It was through the wisdom of these women, that I learned that there is no control over our shadow selves if we do not engage with them and find healthy ways to express what lies beneath their surface. So in other words, I gotta fucking work to understand women. And they don't have to work to understand me. I just gotta fucking be on my knees trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with them 24/7. Man, I ain't reading no more of this bullshit. I can't read it no more, man. I just can't read it no more. I cannot look at it anymore, man. I can't. 7Q Pit, man. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nelson, I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. I'm not even trying to make money here today, man. All I'm trying to do is just say, look, if we really want to heal the pathology in our communities, we have to begin to be honest about what the fuck is actually occurring in our communities. We don't need stories. We don't need anecdotes. We don't need women telling us what the fuck is going on. We need to look at the social science. It's not that difficult to fucking understand it. But we don't want to approach the shit like that. We're using a fucking ideology created by white women who are fucking slave owners, abusers, and rapists who wanted to be able to compete with the white men in their fucking culture. This is their fucking narrative. And it all came about because they didn't want to see black men be able to have power, social and political, above and beyond them. That's what this shit is about. So now black women have taken up the attack of white women after the civil rights movement. And then basically we're sexist, we're rapists, we're abusers. Where the fuck your abuse at? Where your sexism at? Huh? Where your rape at? We ain't gonna talk about that though, huh? We gonna keep that real quiet. Our Antoine Fisher stories need to be quiet, right? All them perverted ass women fucking little boys in school and shit. We need to keep that quiet though, right? Oh, that doesn't affect or harm a man or a boy psychologically. No. It can't. You mean a 34-year-old fucking a goddamn 15, 14-year-old boy, he can handle that. You know, he wanted it. We're not trying to solve our problems. We're trying to push a narrative. That's what we're trying to do in this culture. We're trying to push a narrative, and it ain't friendly to black men. It's some bullshit. We are not going to be the scapegoat for the world anymore, man. No more. I'm sick and tired of hearing this bullshit about how we need to open up, how we need to take accountability, how we need to accept that we fucked up, we're flawed, and that they are fucking perfectly innocent, absolutely fucking white to the core. In their hearts and their spirits, just immaculate, like the fucking Blessed Virgin Mary. That's what we're supposed to start fucking believing, right? So anytime they say something, we just supposed to believe it, right? This is another mangina motherfucking message, man. I'm not listening. These type of dudes, man, I have no words for them, man. None. I don't want to hear these dudes, man. These dudes setting the movement back. They setting actually the pathology in the community back 20, 30 years. Is what they're doing. And where these black men come from? Raised by women, probably. Oh, my grandfather, my granddaddy. Please. It probably was fucking argued to death. Told to shut up to death. Told he wasn't shit to death. Told to be quiet to death. Told to get the fuck out to death. We better start telling the truth in our communities, man, and understanding that pathology goes both ways, man. It ain't just men that's coming with this pathology. Women don't get a pass. Men don't get a pass. Boys don't get a pass. Girls don't get a pass. Nobody gets a pass. Everybody has to be held accountable. And that's the way our community can heal. If we don't hold everyone accountable for all the fuck shit that's going on in our communities, and it's not based upon social science and public health concerns, then we're just fucking around with this issue, and it's just nothing more than grandstanding and virtue signaling. And I don't have time for that bullshit anymore, man. These people are harming our community with this fake ass narrative. And I'm done, man. I'm done ranting for the day. I won't rant anymore this week. I'm done ranting. But those things piss me off, man. You got black men acting like simps and concu-serfs, and then you got white women using black imagery to say that we're mansplainers. I'm sick and tired of this narrative. Somebody has to have some balls and start to push back against this bullshit. So I'm out of here, fellas, man. Before I leave, though, I'm gonna hit you with an outro. Y'all be peaceful, man.
I know you player haters gon' hate, cause I'm at the finish line and I'm in the first place. I'm a winner, and I know I'll never lose, cause I'm way too ahead of you, dude. I know you player haters gon' hate, cause I'm at the finish line and I'm in the first place. I'm a winner, and I know I'll never lose, cause I'm way too ahead of you, dude. I'm coming in. Okay, here I go. Guaranteed to be the leader of the race, come in first place. Put the pedal to the metal, let it burn, then I blow up in your face for the boom of the big bass. Turn around, nigga, buck face. Nigga, turn up the track, leave you hurt with a burnt face. Fuck a nigga, cause he gon' hate. Put some pimpin' in his cup, set him out for the date rate. I go, I blaze, throw grenades in the party till I'm clearing out the whole place. Who got that rock money loan? You can hear it in my tone that I own, you don't know, man. Better run, nigga, bustle like a gun. Ain't a motherfucker nigga that can hold, man. I'm tired of nigga suckin', find your bitch so she can blow, man. Ain't nobody never changed like the young boy, many bomb boys, and he hit like a donkey. And he roll with a convoy with them hot toys. If you really wanna get it jumpin'. I blow that monkey, that hairy back green gorilla. Take it through the nose, put it on my mind, I'm a beast like Michael Jackson Thriller. Your boys are trippin', I ain't here until you're speaking something. Don't do too much because your pussies always do it for me. Yeah, get it good, get it like I should. All the hating motherfuckers better keep it coming. Put them all in a barn, throw a bomb, and that motherfucker leave their body slumping. I know you player haters gon' hate, cause I'm at the finish line and I'm in the first place. I'm a winner, and I know I'll never lose, cause I'm way too ahead of you, dude. I know you player